In today's Final Touch, the series Breaking Bad finished in 2013, but fans can still celebrate the show's success.
The hit series follows high school chemistry teacher Walter White, who takes part in a risky business, we'll call it, out of an RV to make ends meet. There are RV tours in Albuquerque, though, where the show was filmed, that is, and soon there will be a Breaking Bad themed store, too. It will feature mugs, t-shirts, art, photo ops, and other merchandise. The owners say a few familiar, perhaps famous faces may actually pop into the plans to open after New Year's Day. I'm sure a lot of fans of that show all over that right
I didn't
there.
realize it was filmed in Albuquerque.
I know, I didn't either. Yeah, super interesting.
Thanks for your help today.
Of course, we'll see you all week.
We will see you tomorrow. News 3 at 5. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
And right now at 5, we're learning more about the suspect in a Madison homicide over the weekend.
The Madison Fire Department says it has switched to a new firefighting foam. We'll tell you how it will help the environment.
Plus, why Sun Prairie residents are upset over how much their taxes have increased this year.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for staying with us. We have new information about a suspect in a homicide that took place over the weekend.
The suspect was arrested after a shooting that left one man dead. Our Gabriella Becerra is here with us with more details. Gabby.
20-year-old Marcus Hamilton was arrested on a tentative charge of first-degree intentional homicide after he allegedly shot 18-year-old Gunnar Holm of Dodgeville. Holm later died at the hospital. Today, Madison Police spokesperson Joel Despain confirmed that in 2008, Hamilton was at home when his father, also named Marcus Hamilton, was shot to death at his Tempe Drive apartment. He was one of the 3 kids in the home during the shooting, and it was later ruled as an intentional homicide. Earlier this year, Hamilton was accepted into the First Offenders Program, which allows defendants to avoid a criminal conviction with a deferred prosecution contract. Hamilton's contract was assigned after he was charged with forgery, and it was set to expire in September 2020, according to court documents. The shooting brings Madison to 3 homicides this year. Police say there is reason to believe that the suspect and victim knew each other.
A man is dead after a farming accident in Greene County. Deputies say it happened off Highway A in the town of Adams, involving a skid loader that overturned while the victim was doing some farm work. 39-year-old Darren Mead of Argyle was found unconscious when emergency medical services arrived. Life-saving measures were performed, but Mead died at the scene.
The UW-Madison Police Department is investigating after a man was found sleeping in Vilas Hall with blood on his face. It happened Thursday on the building's 4th floor. The man reportedly told officers he was sleeping when an unknown person approached him and hit him in the face several times. Police say the man's story changed several times during the investigation. After reviewing security video, they are still not sure what happened. Anyone with information related to this incident is asked to call UW-Madison Police.
It is the first full day that Madison's fire department has responded with foam free of PFAS. Those are the chemicals that have contaminated wells, groundwater, and waterways here in the city.
You know, obviously we care about each other. We care about our constituents in the city of Madison, the groundwater, the drinking water.
Every engine now contains this newer firefighting foam. Those chemicals have been linked to birth defects, thyroid cancer, even other cancers. Only Danica Lewis spoke with the chief today about the switch and got to see what it took to make it happen.
Well, Susan, PFAS exists in a lot of different products that we use each and every day, but firefighting foams have been under national scrutiny because of the direct effect they can have on the water we drink. Wells in Madison have been taken out of service. The governor has sent up a PFAS council to come up with new testing and treatment standards. And the Air Force has even set up its own task force to address high PFAS levels at more than 400 sites, including Truax Field. So when the city's fire chief found out there was something his department could do, he made a change.
Kind of found out the hard way, if you will, by experience this summer, what kind of an urgency that there actually is to this issue.
You could say the whole process started with a bang, an explosion at the MG&E facility in downtown Madison. Fire Chief Steve Davis soon found out what he thought was a PFAS-free foam wasn't.
Companies can change that proprietary formula, and tests take a while to catch up to them.
Since the summer, the department has avoided using the foam first responders rely on to put out life-threatening fires and contain cancer-causing carcinogens.
Well, I've got 3 young kids, and I want them to have safe drinking water for years to come.
Chief Davis and his team also researched the best options to protect the public from the health risks that come with PFAS, while also being able to do their job. It brought them here, hiring a company to pump the old foam out of every single engine, decontaminate the trucks, and then refill them with PFAS-free foam, at least according to the most recent testing standards.
I'm, as fire chief, slightly apprehensive, but I'm pretty confident based on our third-party independent test. That there's no additional PFAS added in.
A crew committed to protecting us, proactively protecting the environment as well.
We'll be a safer department today because of it, and I think a safer community. Our environment and our community has gotten safer today.
So the old foam that used to be in the engines have been taken to a facility in Idaho to be properly disposed of. Chief Davis actually wants to see more statewide legislation to help provide every department in Wisconsin the money and mandates for PFAS-free foam.
Thank you, Danica.
Sure.
A seasonably cold start to the work week. Let's check your first alert forecast now with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
We start out this morning with a thin layer of snow that fell last night that caused some slippery road surfaces, but it quickly melted during the day, even though temperatures stayed below freezing. That sunshine was just enough to get the temperatures near the ground warm enough to melt a lot of that snow. You can see a visible cloud track. We had thin layer of clouds for much of the day today, but there's been really no precipitation falling from those clouds. High temperatures made it up into the upper 20s. Here in Madison, 28 has been our high so far. And right now we're at 25 degrees with those temperatures starting to fall off. By morning, they'll be down into the middle teens with partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow will be a partly sunny and seasonably cold day with a high of 29. We'll see a brief dip in temperatures on Wednesday, but milder weather arrives on Thursday and lasts into the Christmas holiday. I'll have more details on weather in a few minutes.
Thank you, Gary. The man charged with driving off the road and hitting and killing a group of Girl Scouts in western Wisconsin has entered a plea. Colton True pleaded no contest and was found guilty on 4 counts of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle today in Chippewa County Court. A criminal complaint says True was huffing air duster when he hit and killed 3 Girl Scouts and one of their mothers in Chippewa Falls last November, and he then fled the scene. True also pleaded and was found guilty on 1 count of hit and run involving great bodily harm. He's scheduled to be sentenced in March.
The town of Madison Police Department seeking leads that could help in the case of a missing teenager, missing since October. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children says 17-year-old Olivia Might was last seen October 18th. Anyone who sees her or knows anything about her whereabouts is asked to call the town of Madison Police Department.
Well, people who just received their tax bills in Sun Prairie are upset over how much their taxes have increased this year. Some are paying over $1,000 more in taxes.
And many are considering selling their homes because they can't keep up with the rising expenses of living there. Jamie Perez joins us now with more on why there's been such a heavy increase this year. Jamie?
Well, a majority of that increase actually came from the school district building a second high school. The finance director for the district told me today with how much the city is growing, they needed a new high school, and it passed with a 57% of voters in favor. Now, that resulted in more than a 16% increase on people's tax bills last week, just coming from the school district. I spoke with a man who's running for council who says he's heard from a lot of people who are upset about this. Most of them are families who can't afford to pay this much more in taxes, and a lot of them are seniors who are on a fixed income that cannot come up with the extra money.
Immediately, I've seen some individuals talking, saying how they plan on moving out of Sun Prairie. There is a realtor I know who's gotten phone calls recently about people wanting to list their house for sale now because the price in Sun Prairie has become untenable for them to maintain their house.
In a statement, the City Director of Administrative Services said in part, taxes go in large part towards maintaining vital services for our growing population and enhancing our quality of life. We are working to make the budget a more transparent process so citizens can better understand the direct impact of their dollar. Coming up tonight at 6, we'll hear from the district about some of the other things they are using your tax dollars on.
Amy, thank you. Governor Tony Evers is calling a special session for the Joint Finance Committee to consider funding to address homelessness. The governor says a request to provide assistance to homeless individuals and families was sent to the Budget Committee in mid-July to give them time to act before the winter. In a letter to the committee's Republican co-chairs, Governor Evers says he is convening a special meeting on Thursday afternoon to act upon the, quote, vital request.
A major partner of Madison-based Frank Productions is being taken to court by the U.S. Department of Justice. It's accusing Live Nation of violating the terms of its settlement with the government that allowed its merger with Ticketmaster. Under the agreement, Live Nation cannot force venues to use Ticketmaster as its exclusive ticketing vendor. Many music fans complain Ticketmaster's fees are often too high, making it difficult to afford tickets. In January of last year, Live Nation purchased a major stake in Frank Productions, which runs several Madison venues, including the Sylvie, High Noon Saloon, and the Orpheum. It also runs performances at the Alliant Energy Center and the Kohl Center.
The Madison School Board will decide tonight how they'll move forward with buying a 30,000 square foot building to house programs for students with special needs.
The idea has been controversial. Amy Reed joins us now from the school district headquarters to explain what we will see and hear tonight. Amy?
Parents and advocates for students with disabilities are expected to show up tonight to oppose this plan. Also, one of the school board members, Nikki Vandermeulen, has been very vocal against this purchase. The idea is to give a permanent home to these programs for students with disabilities. Right now, the district rents a space, but those who are against this say that it's illegal, discriminatory, and won't work. They say that these students need to be integrated into all the other schools as a benefit to everyone. Last week, when we spoke to Vandermeulen, she said that she hopes people show up tonight to tell the board how they feel about this ahead of the vote tonight. We'll show you what they have to say tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
All right, looking forward to it. Amy Reed reporting. Amy, thank you.
More than 250 girls are going home tonight with winter clothes to keep them warm through the holidays. Today, the girls were invited to the Henry Vila Zoo to enjoy its annual zoo lights. They're warming up with handmade hats, scarves, and mittens made by the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program as they enjoy carousel rides and the zoo lights. Madison School and Community Recreation and Girls Incorporated are bringing the girls to the zoo lights in an effort to reward them for a successful school semester.
And to no surprise, two Badger football players are receiving more awards. Running back Jonathan Taylor and center Tyler Biadasz were named Associated Press First Team All-Americans. Last week, Biadasz won the Remington Trophy for the nation's best center. Taylor won his second Doak Walker Award for the best running back in the country. Linebacker Zach Bond was named to the AP All-America second team. The Badgers, of course, head to Pasadena for the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. They'll face the Oregon Ducks. More to come on News 3 Now at 5 up next with the House vote expected to impeach President Trump, how Democrats are calling for a fair Senate trial.
And coming up tonight at 6, it's been a busy off-season for the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll introduce you to the Crew's newest addition.
And starting the work week on Wall Street, the Dow up more than 100 points. The Nasdaq jumps almost 80. The S&P 500 climbs 23. And we'll be right back.
For reliable weather day in and day out, watch First Alert Weather.
Boeing will temporarily stop producing the grounded 737 MAX jet starting in January as it struggles to get approval from regulators to put that aircraft back in the air. It doesn't immediately impact layoffs. They don't expect any as a result of this production halt. The MAX has been grounded since March after those two deadly crashes. For the third time in U.S. history, the House of Representatives is expected to vote to impeach a U.S. president.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer sent a letter to Majority Leader Mitch McConnell proposing that Chief Justice John Roberts preside over the trial to issue subpoenas to 4 administration officials, including acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney and former National Security Advisor John Bolton. Republicans are trying to work with the president to figure out how the trial should look, while Democrats say it is not in the country's best interest to have Republican lawmakers and the White House teaming up.
If the president wants to call witnesses, if the president wants to call Hunter Biden or wants to call the whistleblower, the Senate should allow the president to do so.
Here you have the majority leader of the Senate, in effect the foreman of the jury, saying he's going to work hand in glove with the defense attorney. That's a violation of the oath that they're about to take.
The House Rules Committee will hold a hearing tomorrow to decide how the full House vote will proceed. It is expected on Wednesday.
A new poll shows a clear top tier among the 2020 field in the 14 states holding primaries on Super Tuesday. The latest CBS News Battleground tracker poll shows former Vice President Joe Biden with an edge over Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, who's been focusing his efforts on those contests, is now polling in 5th place. Democrats trying to unseat President Trump are hoping wins in Super Tuesday primaries will give them an edge.
This is a delegate fight. It is a fight to win delegates who will go on to the national convention, and so Super Tuesday has a lot of them.
And the latest CBS News poll finds 4 in 10 Democratic voters in Super Tuesday states are still concerned about whether any Democrat can defeat President Trump. 7 candidates are set to square off Thursday for the 6th Democratic presidential debate. That'll be at Loyola Marymount University out in Los Angeles.
The military academies at West Point and Annapolis are investigating whether their students were flashing racist hand signs before the annual Army-Navy football game on Saturday. Video from ESPN's College Game Day shows on multiple occasions several cadets and midshipmen were flashing hand signs. But sometimes the hand signal is popular among junior military members as part of what's called the circle game, where if another person looks at it, they get punched. Officials say lately, though, the hand sign has been used by white extremists, including the Christchurch shooter in New Zealand and by white nationalists at a Portland, Oregon rally in August.
All right, let's get a look at your first alert weather now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joining us with what's happening and our potential for any severe weather across the region. Any kind of messy weather, Gary.
Yeah, you know, we had a little bit of light snow this morning. Not very much, but enough to cause some slippery road surfaces, and most of that melted during the day. That's not the case farther to the south. Winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings are in effect from Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma through Missouri, central Illinois, and Indiana into Ohio and into parts of New England. Winter storm warnings in effect around the St. Louis area for about 1/2 foot of snow and a glaze of ice. Take a look at the snow depth. Parts of central Illinois into east central Missouri, about 1/2 foot or more of snow on the ground. To the north of us, 1/2 foot to 2 feet of snow up near Lake Superior. And look at this little sliver right in between. That's where we are. Remember the snow we had in October? Now we're getting close to Christmas, and we just can't buy a flake, at least that will stick around through the Christmas holiday. Doppler track right now, very quiet across the region. And take a look at the snowfall forecast from the longer range computer models. I've been showing you this the last few days. This is all the way through Christmas Day, showing no snow in the forecast. And part of that is because the temperatures will warm up. 29 for high tomorrow and 18 on Wednesday, but look what happens after that. Mid-30s on Thursday, and then high temperatures in the lower 40s beginning on Friday through Monday, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in the upper 30s compared to the normal high temperature at that time that should be in the upper 20s. So that's running about 10 degrees above normal. So 3 things you need to know in the forecast. Seasonably cold weather for tomorrow. A little colder for Wednesday. High temperatures only in the teens. Night and early morning wind chills could be down to around 10 below zero. But it'll turn milder on Thursday, and then it'll turn very mild beginning on Friday and lasting through the Christmas holiday. And yes, no snow in the forecast through Christmas. The live view from the Edgewater Sky Cam downtown Madison. Pretty quiet out there right now. There's been a thin thin overcast for much of the day. High temperature 28, the low temperature 19. And right now we're sitting at 25 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Winds out of the north-northwest at 5 miles per hour, giving us a wind chill of 19 degrees. Temperatures 20s to teens across the northern portion of the Midwest. But right now, the upper-level winds are from the southwest, so that keeps the coldest air locked up in Canada. The upper-level winds shift to the northwest for a couple of days as we head from tomorrow into Wednesday. But then look at how the jet stream pushes northward, and a big storm system heading for the Pacific coast will basically take that jet stream and become much more southwesterly through much of the country, allowing mild Pacific air to move eastward for the second half of the week. So while there's another little shot of cold air at that cold front north of the U.S.-Canadian border that'll ride in here for Wednesday, after that our temperatures will turn much milder. So these readings right now, 20s and 30s, which are pretty typical for this time of year, will give way to a big warm-up toward the end of the week. Notice the winds for Wednesday, as we head from tomorrow into Wednesday. Those winds become northerly, but then actually a surge of warmer air starts moving eastward, and by Wednesday night, already the winds start to shift to the southwest and the warm-up begins. So look for skies to be partly cloudy overnight, seasonably cold with a low of 15. Tomorrow, a partly sunny, seasonably cold day, high temperature 29, so our temperature is very close to the average for this time of year. Future track, partly cloudy skies tonight. Temperatures will drop off into the mid-teens, highs tomorrow in the upper 20s, but watch those readings drop into the single digits tomorrow night when we could see wind chills down to around 10 below zero. Highs on Wednesday only in the upper teens. As we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, you can see those temperatures back up in the mid-30s on Thursday and then at or above 40 from Friday through Monday. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day look quiet as well. Maybe a little drizzle late in the day on Christmas Day and some light rain or snow showers on Thursday. First alert traffic right now, there's the Beltline at Park Street. Today, the big travel problem is in the westbound direction. We're seeing delays westbound beginning around Seminole Highway and going all the way back to near Monona Drive. Eastbound, the delays start around John Nolan Drive and head back to Verona Road. So when you're looking at the travel times, right now, it's about the same in both directions. 22 minutes between University Avenue and the interstate on the Beltline. 25 minutes down to Janesville on A3990. 16 minutes to Sauk City on US 12 and 17 minutes to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue and US 151. That's your News 3 Now First Alert Traffic.
All right, thank you, Gary.
Ahead on News 3 Now at 5, new research is raising more concerns about the potential harms of vaping. We'll have those new findings after a short break. Raising more concerns about the vaping epidemic and the potential harms of e-cigarettes.
Marie Austin has the latest findings.
A new study from UC San Francisco finds using e-cigarettes significantly raises the risk of chronic lung diseases such as asthma, bronchitis, emphysema, and obstructive pulmonary disease. The research looked at 32,000 adults without lung disease and followed them for 3 years.
And this is the first study in the general population to show that the use of e-cigarettes increases the chances you'll develop chronic lung disease. It really damages your lungs. And so these damages in the study we did are long-term and cumulative.
Dr. Stanton Glantz is the senior author of the study, which also found people who used both traditional cigarettes and e-cigarettes at the same time had even higher risks of lung diseases.
If you're a dual user, which is what most adult e-cigarette users are, you're actually worse off than if you just smoked.
Dr. Glantz says this new research adds to the growing evidence that e-cigarettes are dangerous.
My guess is that, 3 or 4 years from now, when the scientific case has fully gelled, we're going to find that e-cigarettes, while different from cigarettes, probably are about as dangerous as cigarettes. People really shouldn't be using them.
The lung diseases reported in this study are not related to the lung injuries associated with vaping that federal health officials are currently investigating. More than 2,400 people have been hospitalized and more than 50 have died. Marin Austin, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And stay with us. We'll have a final check of your forecast in just a moment.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, a major weather system brings snow, ice, and rain to parts of the country. Tonight, tornado warnings in Louisiana. Plus, protecting your privacy, hackers spying through popular home security cameras, what you need to know. And victory for Newtown, one team's big win, bringing a community and nation together. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Feeling like December out there.
It is, but only for a couple of days. It'll feel more like early November by the time Christmas rolls around. Just like early November, it felt more like Christmas earlier this fall. Mid-20s right now. Temperatures will drop off to about 15 by morning. Upper 20s for tomorrow. Only 18 for Wednesday, but look at the forecast for the rest of the week and through the Christmas holiday. Well above normal temperatures there.
And we're back in 30 minutes. CBS Evening News is next.